2 middles.
Okay, is this on?
Yeah, you too,
Hello. Yeah. Okay, we have Steph and Demain here for you right now. Brookins and Johnson will both be here in a little while. They're just finishing their medicals. And I think Leonard Garcia is in the room. I just want to announce the bonuses real quick. The knockout of the night went to Pablo Garza. Submission of the night was Cody McKenzie. And fight of the night was Garcia versus Fan. And they're $30K each. The attendance was 1,622. The gate was 380,025. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A. Just if you could, please raise your hand so that we can bring you a mic and we can get your questions on audio so that people listening can hear the questions that you ask. So just raise your hand who's got first question.
Stephan, you seemed a little bit invigorated out there. Can you talk a little bit about your mindset going into this fight and a little bit about getting that consistent training camp and what that did for you this fight?
Yeah, I got a good team. You know, Sergio Pena on one kicks, got a lot of good guys. Steve Cantwell, Alex Schoenhauer, Mike Cisnelevich pushing me. We got a good thing going. And I've been working all aspects of the game, you know, wrestling a lot of jiu-jitsu. And, you know, everyone expected me to brawl. So I knew what I was going to do, but I kind of let on that I was going to brawl. And I feel sneaky. I feel surreptitious. So, hey, it feels good, though, you know. I felt a little guilty out there for not going toe-to-toe, to be honest with you. But, hey, I got the win.
Were you at all trying to bait him in by absorbing some of his strikes to be able to do what you wanted to do then?
I didn't feel I got hit a whole hell of a lot. I mean, I got those illegal knees off the bottom, but that was really probably the best shots he landed in the fight.
And then did Steve Maserati talk to you during the fight about the illegal knees? It seemed to kind of take everybody.
I had to tell him. He hit me with like 3 or 4 of them. Finally, I'm like, Steve, dude, that's 4, you know? And then I didn't even care, really, because I didn't want to lose my position. I felt myself bleed, and then I said something like, come on, Steve, you know, I'm bleeding because those were illegal. And then I made sure to tell him I'm all right, though, because I didn't want him to start and stand us up because, yeah, I had a good side mount on him. But, you know, it sucks when you got to ref your own fight.
Did he talk to you at all prior to when he took the point away from you in the last round? I mean, there was like 3 seconds left. Were you obviously?
Yeah, I was
surprised.
I had a side control. I couldn't really see his face. I felt like I was hitting his face, and I felt like he turned the back of his head towards my fist while I was punching. So, you know, no hard feelings to Steve. It's a tough job reffing. My hat's off to him, and you know, just time to move forward.
And not to harp on the officiating thing, but were you aware that there was a point taken from him after the second round? Because for most of us, we didn't know that there was a point taken from him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it till like during my break. I was catching my breath, and I saw him go over to the judges and tell them 1 point, and I was kind of glad because I was like, I mean, deserved it. It wasn't just like 1 accidental knee. There were like 4, you know. And then also, I remember, you know, it's kind of a blur in there, but I do remember another illegal up kick that landed. You know, while I had my knees down. So.
And
not to complain or anything.
Not at all. And talk about you talked about the fact that you said going in, I knew I was going to grapple. You know, I wanted to bait him. Well, was that because of him or because of something you wanted to do?
Yeah, I wanted to fool him. I wanted to mix it up. I didn't know how it would work out. Who knows? Maybe it would have stuffed my takedowns. It would have been a toe-to-toe brawl. But I ended up getting the takedowns. I felt like I was controlling them on top. And after the second round, I was like, man, I know I'm ahead. Why just go toe-to-toe and take chances and risk, you know, being all ugly for that WEC show next week? So, you know, I felt a little guilty, but I wanted to play it safe.
There were some comments that you made before this fight that said kind of to that effect of, you know, taking punches to the head and all these things. But that's kind of become your signature to be in these brawls. Is this something that's changing, or was this specific to Igor tonight?
It was just the right time to do it, you know, because, you know, everyone expected me to be the same old toe-to-toe Bonnar, and, you know, including Igor. You know, even in his interviews, he was looking forward to a toe-to-toe brawl. So I thought it was the perfect time to pull a little fast one, pull a little tomfoolery on everyone.
And if I could ask Demain, please, can you talk about your performance tonight and how you approached it and how you thought it played out for you?
I think, you know, I'm happy because I won, of course. I wanted to submit the fight. I really want to submit this fight, but Kendall was really smart. In one point, like I was baiting him to go to the side when I was in his back. I want to switch to the arm and neck submission, and he didn't go. Even his corners were saying like, go to the side, escape your hips, and he was not escaping. I was shit. And then, after that, he said to me, you want me to escape my hips to that side because you want to switch to that submission. I said, yeah, you're smart. So, he's a good fighter.
During the fight, he said that?
No, after the fight.
After
the fight, he said. He's the nicest guy, that I ever fought. He was nice yesterday. After the fight, he was very nice. And he's a great fighter. You can see his last couple of fights, even the fight that he lost to Munoz, he was doing pretty well. Munoz is tough, and against Goran he did pretty well. Goran is a pretty tough fighter, so he's tall. He's a very weird to fight. So I'm happy that I won.
And kind of the opposite of Stephan, we expected you to be looking for the takedown at all costs to try to get to the ground, and you actually looked like you were comfortable striking tonight, especially in the third round. Yeah. Is that something that he was giving to you, or was that something, some kind of point that you were trying to prove?
No, the thing it was, I knew that I won the first 2 rounds, so I said, okay, let's try to strike a little bit, and I think I landed a couple of good punches. I gotta try to do that. I gotta, I'm learning to striking, and I gotta try to do that. I was controlling well the distance. I was feeling safe. I was not brawling, so it was not too much risk. And I was trying to do some knockdown or something like that, but didn't work. But, I was trying.
For Stephan, please. You said tonight was just kind of a good chance to catch everybody off guard and have a safe game plan. But the way that the safe game plan worked, you pretty much dominated the fight from start to finish. Does that kind of encourage you to maybe try that again in the future?
Well, more than anything, I think it lets opponents know they got to be on their toes and they can't just expect the, one-dimensional slugfest. It kind of opens up other options and keeps them thinking. And I feel like I'm more well-rounded, and you try to work on everything. This game is really complex. I saw Herschel Walker on an interview say he did all these pro sports, and definitely MMA is the hardest, and he's right. There's so much to learn, and I'm 33, and I still feel like there's a lot to learn. And look at Couture, 48. He just got his black belt. So that shows you.
I have a question for Damon. Damien, with this win, where do you think it puts you in the 185-pound division?
I really don't know. That's a question that a lot of people asking me, and I really don't know. I want to keep winning, and I know that if I keep winning, I'm gonna fight for the title again. So actually, I'm not thinking about that. I just thinking about keeping winning, and like I said, I want to finish my fights before, like I was doing. I used to do, and I try hard, but like Stephan said, it's a very complex sport. I'm learning stand-up, I'm learning to get better on my takedown, so I feel I'm much better fighter nowadays, but I just need to, come back to my submissions, and that's what I want to do now.
Does a rematch with Nate Marquardt sound interesting to you?
I don't know. He just lost you. He did a good fight. Okami is pretty tough opponent, but I don't care now, about him. I think there's a lot of people. I want to do one day a rematch against him, but not right now.
Okay. And a question for Stephan. Stephan, can you talk about this last year for you, the 2 victories over Christoph and then this win tonight?
Yeah, the first match with Christoph, it would make a good movie, It was so heartbreaking, that loss, especially because I felt really strong going in that third round, and I didn't even care that I got fouled with a headbutt. I just wanted to finish the fight. I didn't get that chance, and I was devastated. I was gutted. Like, I was so depressed. I cried like a baby for days, and then just to come back and get that win and take him out in exciting fashion and get the fight of the night, you have no idea the weight that was lifted. And it made just a good, kind of storybook little story. It's a good story. And that gave me a lot of confidence. And, going in training for this fight, I felt different. I felt good, and then also with this fight too. Everyone expected me to do one thing, and I went out there and showed that I could fight and take people down, and I'm not so one-dimensional. And I got another good win, and I don't have to spend the night in the hospital. I don't look like Frankenstein, and now Christmas is coming up, and I get to get fat, so I'm really happy.
Questions?
Let Jonathan get settled there. Jonathan, obviously, congratulations on your victory this evening. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you're feeling right now, and how things went for you tonight?
I feel good right now. I'm just like I was telling Mike earlier, man. I'm just happy to go back to being friends with Mike. I'm glad this whole thing's. I'm glad the whole thing's kind of over with, man, and we can get started on our next portion of the journey and whatnot.
Talk to us about the first round. A lot of trouble early for you. It looked like you were rocked pretty significantly. How much do you remember that first round, and what exactly went wrong?
I believe what went wrong was Mike was better than me the first round, and he just beat up on me. And I just think that I had to work the kinks out. He definitely did a lot of improving since the last time we sparred, and he just brought, I remember him saying, like when you get in the cage with the Menace, it's a different story. And I was like, all right, I wonder what the Menace is like in the cage, because I only knew Mike the whole time. I never got in the cage with the Menace. So hey, the Menace is legit, man. It was serious. So it was a lot of fun.
And obviously the story, the big comeback in the second and third rounds, and you were very much in control those final 10 minutes. What changed? Was it something, an adjustment technically that you made? Was it something that Michael did differently? What changed in the final 2 rounds?
No, I just think that I mean, it was the same game plan, and I just was just kept on sticking to it. I knew that I was having trouble getting the takedowns the first round, but I knew that the ground area was more my game. I knew that that he had done more improving in the stand-up than I did during the time from the house. I still have a lot of improving to do in that area, so I just try to really maintain focus and get it to my area, where I felt more comfortable.
Definitely. And for Michael, maybe you can talk to us as well about what was going through your mind in the opening round, some early success. What was going through your mind at that point?
Opening round, I came out, I felt real good, hit him with some big shots, and I looked up and, I noticed I dropped him a little bit late, and I was like, okay, well, here's my time to finish. And, he did a great job of recovering. I just made a mistake and, took a back step a little bit too much and let him recover from that knockdown. And, after that, I really don't know what happened between the first and the second round. I guess it was downhill slope, and he got me on the back, and, he's real tight with staying on my hips, and I just couldn't find the space to get back up.
So in retrospect, you feel like you might have let him off the hook a little bit in the first round?
Yeah, I thought I did. I should have just stayed on it, but, I was trying to play it safe. I didn't want to gas out completely or, blow my wad and just save a little bit of energy for the second and third round. But, it was a mistake on my part, and, I'll be willing to work on it sooner.
Question for Stephan Bonnar. Stephan, after getting fat like a turkey for the next few weeks, and please do join me for a few drinks downstairs in a short while.
Gareth, I refuse to answer any questions from you unless you promise to come to my after party. That blush. Deal?
Deal.
All right. By Christmas, I'm going to weigh 245. That's how fat I'm going to get. Starting tonight. I froze. I didn't have any stuffing. It's all in the freezer. And my wife makes the best stuffing you've ever had. The secret's Jimmy Dean sausage. She's going to kill me for telling you that. But that's all I'm eating tomorrow from morning to night.
I know you wanted a long advertorial, but...
yesterday I lost 16 pounds in 3 hours. Okay, go ahead.
Just wondered if you... It's really nice to see you again, by the way. Just wondered if you fancied going back to Australia to fight in Australia again on February the 27th or 26th, whatever it is.
Oh man, I'd love to go back to Australia, but probably not the fight. I'm still a little scarred there, the bad ref, bad ringside doctor. Give me one more year to get over it. 2012, let me fight in Australia. How's that sound? Thanks.
This question is for Michael. Despite the loss, I mean, let's talk about your stand-up. Your stand-up has improved in leaps and bounds. It looks like it's a silver lining in the cloud. What do you foresee happening in the future now? Because your stand-up's more well-rounded, and it seems like you have a bright future in the UFC regardless.
From here on out, man, is jiu-jitsu. Day in, day out. I got to get better off my back. That's my weak point in my game. My stand-up's there, my wrestling's there, and I'll take a little break, a couple days, and Tuesday morning I'll be right back in the gym. Working to try to get better and try to improve. Everybody takes these losses, and it's a learning lesson for me. Jonathan's a great opponent. This fight's in the back of my mind already. I just got to keep moving forward and throw it out the window. And hopefully, Dana and Joe Silva and everybody see that I'm here to get better and make an improvement. So hopefully I'll be back pretty soon.
And Jonathan, can you talk about how you feel? Because now, a lot of people, the first time they ever really got a chance to see you was back in the WEC. And you've looked great in the Ultimate Fighter and now with the finale. Can you talk about how you look forward to your future in the lightweight division of the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy journey. Everything's a learning process, man. And each time I don't want to be my hardest critic, but I just see so much that I have to improve on in order to really be competitive in this game, And I'm kind of just getting by. It feels like, in a sense, I feel like there's a little bit more pressure slightly now to really step up and to really perform. So. I think that's just that's where my sights are set now, to really play the part, to really improve in the areas that are necessary in order to be a competitive factor in the UFC. I know me and Mike will have future fights here, and now it's just up to us to really pull the trigger and make our way up this ladder.
Great. Two things, Michael. If you want to learn jiu-jitsu, ask the man next to you. Just get his number. But Demain, I'm curious with Kendall, did his lankiness, did that pose any issues as to why you weren't able to get a submission? You seemed like you were close at a lot of the time, and then it's like the guy just has too much limb in the way or something. What did you see as the reason why you weren't able to finish him?
I think first because he's smart and he trains jiu-jitsu. But I think that, of course, you're not used to train with guys that size. So, I really was trying. Like I said, my last fight, I was looking for the holes. But this fight, I was, really trying to submit. But I couldn't because, like I said, I was baiting him to go somewhere. He was not going. So I tried to keep, the fight. I tried to win. That's the most important. I'm pretty happy. I fought 4 times this year. And I think, in all my career, this year I think I fought for like 14 rounds. And in all my career, I think I never fought 14 rounds. So it's great. It's a great experience.
And also, Stephan, for you, obviously these two guys put on a really good show at the end, and I, thought it was a contender for a fight of the night there between the two. Any part of you, when you were watching this, feel a little bit of a stirrings of some great old memories from when you were back in the day?
Yeah, they had a hell of a fight. In the first round, I got worried. I thought John was almost out of there, and he showed a lot of heart and determination and came back and ended up winning. So, yeah, it did kind of remind me. I know, I thought back to my fight. I came out and ate a lot of big punches and fought through it. So, yeah, my hat's off to John. What a hell of a fight, John.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
I got one for John. Any interest whatsoever in going back to 45 or no?
Oh man, that question. Yeah, definitely. I definitely have a lot of interest in going down there. I love 145. I love the competitors there. I was really impressed with the guy Michael fought to get into the house. What's his name? Huh? No, the guy to get into the house. Pablo Garza. There's just an abundance of guys there at 145 that I'd still love to compete with, and I'm very thankful to be right in the middle to be able to go back and forth. So I'm glad that it's over. I'd love to, man.
Yeah, please do.
For Michael, obviously, you talked about the technique that changed, and Jonathan was able to take advantage of those final 2 rounds. Was fatigue at all a factor for you? You said you were trying to reserve yourself in the first round. Were you tiring at all as the fight went on?
I felt my legs, get a little tired. Coming that second round, I thought I fought that takedown really hard, and he's a great chain wrestler. He just kept pushing and kept pushing, and once he got me on my back, my legs did go out a little bit. I was trying to get them off my hips, and it was really hard to do that. And I just felt myself fatiguing like every second I tried to get them off, and I was just trying to get back, and it was pretty difficult to get back up. So I would definitely be working on that.
And finally, I mean, you obviously a little bit disappointed, man. You look a little frustrated up there, but I mean, is there any sense of accomplishment for what you have done? You didn't come in with the best record or the most experience of anybody in the house, and yet here you are. Is there any sense of accomplishment there?
Yeah, I mean, I made it. This is one of my goals. It's plenty of great fighters in the UFC right now that's got to this point and lost. Stephan.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, see, everyone, Stephan, he's a great fighter in UFC. Koscheck, who's fighting for the title, Melvin Gillard. It's just abundance of guys, that got to this point, didn't even make it to the finals that lost, and they're still top names in the UFC, so there's definitely room for improvement. And I plan on taking advantage of every little step I get. So,
I've got one for Jonathan. Jonathan, I remember talking to you before the show even was filmed, and you kind of said that you were known as the guy who fought Aldo, the guy who gave Aldo a tough fight. Do you feel like that's a closed chapter, and the fans know you as a different guy now?
No, they always bring. I don't go many days without somebody bringing that up. So I think I'm still the guy who fought Jose Aldo, which it's an honor, I guess. I don't even know what to say about that. I think I said it once before. I think he's probably got to be tired of that. Like, God, man, I already beat that kid down, man. Why is he still alive? But I'm still, my hat's off to him, man. I'd love to. It's been a goal of mine since I lost that fight. I made the decision not too long after I lost that fight to make the best of it. To say as soon as it didn't take me but a couple hours to say, what, this was the best learning experience, and I'm going to go forward from this, and I'm going to take this and make it a positive. So it's turned out to be a positive. I wouldn't have even made it on the show if it wasn't for people saying, hey, that's the kid who fought Jose Aldo. It's ironic how things worked, So it's been an interesting chain of events, and I'm kind of happy that I haven't shook that stigma yet, because he is such a great fighter, and it is something that I don't really go into many fights or many experiences without thinking about that learning lesson. He taught me so many lessons in that fight, man. I was on I thought I was the best fighter in the world. I didn't think there was a 45er who could touch me, and he soon humbled me greatly. I learned so many lessons from him, so he doesn't know what kind of fan he has in me, so it's been a heck of a journey since that fight.
Final questions, guys? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.